A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this week's edition of The Agenda. My name is Toibon, your host. Tonight on the show we are uniting a former planned combatant with a former Koevoet combatant. We are, reconciling these two. Of course, they have reconciled already, but I think there remains debates about, for example, who should receive these payments that government give, the tokens of appreciation, and who shouldn't. So in that regard, we are joined by Dr. Charles Mubita. He is a former planned combatant, and Jabulani Ndeunyema, who is chairperson of Namibia War Veterans Trust, NAMVET, which is fighting for the rights of former Koevoet and SWATF members to also be recognized and be compensated in some way. Gentlemen, thank you very much for making time. Doc.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with you, Jabu, because you are relentless in your demands. You are saying that there's discrimination being practiced by government against your group of fighters, and that what is accorded to people like Charles here must also be accorded to you. If you can give us a sense of why you think you deserve that.
First, let me say that we do not have problem, SWATF Koevoet do not have problem if Dr. Charles Mubita is compensated. That's not a problem. But I am having a problem if the government of Namibia is not recognize me as a military veteran. Before I answer many questions, maybe Dr. Charles Mubita, because he's a military veteran, he was trained as a military combatant. He understands what does military veteran mean. And simply let me say that the reason we have realized that the reason why the government of Namibia does not want to recognize former SWATF and Koevoet as military veteran, one is because of African retribution, number one. Number two is that the policy of national reconciliation is not working. Number three is that the blanket amnesty that was introduced was fake. Also, to add to that is that I think we see, everyone can now see what is going on in a country. We all see that the country is in a mess, which means that SWAPO is an organization that have been led by serial dishonest people. That's why SWATF and Koevoet cannot be recognized in a country, it cannot be accorded with a military veteran in Namibia. Also, I have said that, I'm saying it again, that we do not have problem if Charles Mubita is compensated. And what people should understand is that SWATF and Koevoet are not demanding to be compensated, no. For what reason? We are not demanding to be compensated. We are only demanding to be recognized as military veteran. That's all. One thing that you must understand is that the person who crafted the war veteran was very clever. As I said before, that's why he named it war veterans. He did not name it military veteran because it was supposed to be a military veteran act. Charles Mubita was trained as a planned fighter combatant. He does not want to be called just ordinary war veteran. General Martin Shally is a former commander of planned fighter. Does not want just to be referred to as a war veteran. He would be happy to be called a military veteran.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Thank you.
Charlie, what is your understanding of the recognition of these war veterans or military veterans, as Jabulani wants to call it? What was the principle as you understood it?
No, first of all, I think we need to understand the determination of who is a veteran or war veteran. Is that determination was made by government.
Yeah.
It was made through a legislative act, through parliament. So I would believe whoever has contestation on that should approach government, the relevant authorities. However, I wish to take issue with Jabu regarding recognition as a military veteran or war veteran or whatever adjective we could put to it. The simplest thing is I am a war veteran of the liberation struggle.
Yeah.
Okay? And the recognition for me to be accorded that status is because I fought for the liberation of this country.
Yeah.
So I would need maybe Jabu could explain, first of all, before I get engaged into the thing, to understand why would you, together with your colleagues of former Koevoet, SWATF, be recognized in what category, for what particular achievements, for what particular role with regard to the liberation of the Namibian people. Why would you want to be recognized?
Yeah. Back to you, Jabu.
Look, that's why I said.
Yeah, go ahead.
What should we? I think Dr. Charles Mubita know what does military veteran and how it started. You see, how the first country that introduced the military veteran was France.
Yeah.
After the First World War. Why was that introduced? You see, you must go and Google and understand why it was introduced.
Yeah.
You see, that's why a country, for example, like South Africa, all the former soldiers of SADF, South Africa Defense Force.
Yeah. We just have a small issue here with the phone, but to be taken care of. Okay, please go ahead.
You see, Namibia is part of the world. Namibia is part of Africa. We can't just do things on isolation. We can't do things that we think. SWAPO must not just do things that think is suiting it is agenda, you see?
Let me intervene here.
Yes.
Jabu, I think we need to be serious. We cannot bring France here, no matter how puppetary we want to become, okay? You cannot just bring in France to an equation of a serious issue regarding the war of liberation in Namibia. And you see, your reference to SWAPO being this, that, you are stepping on toes. You are being very provocative, and that is not acceptable. You, sitting here, Jabu, and your fellows, former Koevoets, Makakunyas, Malonda Mbongos, and all that, okay, the SWATF, you were aiming a gun at Namibians, not at any enemy. You were aiming your guns at Namibians. And you had one simple aim: to stop the liberation of this country. And now you want to ask the same people that you were targeting to recognize you for killing them. Do you honestly think that is fair?
See, that's why I said, be careful not to get angry.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't get angry.
Also, be careful not to refer us to Magakunya. Those words are prohibited. Don't use words that are prohibited.
Prohibited by who?
By the Policy of National Reconciliation.
No.
Yeah.
My brother, let me tell you, no, sorry, not my brother. Let me tell you something simple. A port is a port. Whether you call it Mbiha or you call it Porto, you call it whatever, it's a port. A Koevoet, a SWATF, is a Makakunya, is a Landambongo, is a sellout. They were sellouts. You guys were selling out. Until or unless you tell me exactly what is it that you were fighting for.
That's why I said majority of you people, you are still suffering from war syndrome. That's why every time you are referring everything to Cold War, everything you are referring to Cold War. That's why I said this country is in a mess because of your behavior.
Because of
you claim to liberate Namibia. You falsely claim to liberate Namibia, but that's not the question. The question, Mr. Charles Mubita, why do we want to be recognized as military veteran in this country? That's a question. That is what brought us here.
Exactly. Yes. And you're not answering that.
Please go ahead, Jabu, on that question.
Answer that question. Why?
That's why I said, hereafter, I will come. You give me your number so that I can contact you later. Okay. From after this discussion, go and Google what does military veteran mean.
No.
No.
I don't need to.
No, if you know, it's fine. Just,
I don't need to.
Not
Google.
Just say yes or no.
I am a military man. You are a military man.
Just say yes or no.
You didn't Google to become a military man, did you?
No. Listen.
Okay.
I am saying this. If you are not going to Google, it's fine. It's your own problem. I'm saying this so that Koevoet Jebera, who invited us to understand to understand who is wrong, who is right. Military veteran mean any person who went through a military training. Any person should be in after independence, after the war that he participated. Yeah. This person should not be allowed to go loose in a country. He should not be allowed, because you see this person who went through military training remained dangerous until he died.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Jabu, to make it easier. Because if you are accorded a particular status, because being recognized like he is recognized by government, it accords you some sort of status to say that you were fighting for a particular cause, and for that we recognize you as having contributed towards that cause. Now, in this case, if I understand Dr. Mubita's question correctly, is to say, in your case, as former Koevoet and SWATF members, you need that recognition. You want to be recognized for what? What is it that you want to be recognized for?
No.
You want to be remembered as what?
I think you don't understand. That's why I'm saying, let's understand what does military veteran mean. Why should a former soldier, any former soldier, just like it happened in South Africa, the former SWATF and INC, Koevoet, they are all military veterans. Just like in Angola, the former UNITA soldier, the former MPLA, those are military, are both military veterans. Why?
Okay, let me help you.
Why? Why are they recognized as military? Just hold on. Why they are both recognized as military veterans? Because of the reconciliation they introduced, because they know these people are soldiers and they do not want to allow this soldier to go loose in a society. That's why they will look after by their respective government. See, just understand what does military veteran, then you know why our demand is that. We are not demanding to be given any status. These people are recognized as hero, SWAPO hero. That's not a problem. It is not our demand. That's why the last discussion with me, I said, SWATF and Koevoet will never be a plan fighter, will never be a freedom fighter.
Do you recognize them as heroes?
He's a hero. SWAPO recognize them as a hero, not me.
No, let me help Jabu.
Okay, please come in.
You spoke about national reconciliation, okay? You realize that immediately after independence, many of your colleagues were absorbed in the Namibian Defense Force, in the Namibian police. Am I right?
Yeah.
They were. Eh? Apart from those that, since you were partly a commander, apart from those that you sent to Zeerast, some 120 kilometers northeast of Rustenburg.
I'm going to visit them next week.
Yes, and they are there. And we know the agenda.
Yeah. No, they have no agenda.
No. That's why I say, don't ever think that we are sleeping. We know. No. How did I even know? I can even take you there at Zeerast, where they are. I know, and I know the agenda.
That's why I'm saying I have been visiting them. And 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, I'm going to visit them again. At the end of this month, I'm going to South Africa to visit them.
Exactly.
And they are there without any agendas. They are not there with the agenda.
When you send,
it's only, you see, that's why we come up with such a propaganda, because of cowardice.
Who is a coward?
You see, since you return from abroad, your behavior was just like you have been just behaving as coward.
We have outsmarted you from the word go. We gave you an olive branch, accommodated you in the Namibian army.
You did not accommodate us. We accommodated. You see, that's why you misinterpret things, Mr. Charles Mubita.
Okay, who accommodated you?
You did not. You find us. You run away from this country. Go go outside. You come back and find us here. And then while you came here, you find us in our military base. We accommodated you.
Now I believe. No matter how many times you take Lucifer to church, you will never ever convert him. So this is typical. Look, this is typical of a typically brainwashed Makakunya, who would not understand simple reality. The Namibian Defense Force falls under whose government? The South African government?
Namibian government.
Exactly.
My government
yes.
under SWAPO.
And then the Namibian police?
This is not your government, this is Namibian government.
Namibian government. That's why I am saying you were accommodated because you were recognized as military personnel then. So now I do not understand what the fuss is.
Last week I was discussing with someone about this issue, and I tell that person, that guy is a friend of mine, he's a former plan fighter. We work together in the military, in the Namibian Defense Force. And I say, you just want all the titles. You see, this guy, they are the victim and they are the victor. They want all the titles. Why?
Because you are denying your own title as a sellout.
No.
And we appreciate our titles as freedom fighters. You are running away from your own title as a sellout.
Dr. Charles Mubita, you ran away from this country on your own volitions. You ran away from this country to claim to go and liberate the country. When you fail to liberate this country,
maybe can you say run away in Oshwambo, because it seems you do not understand.
You ran away.
We never ran. We never ran away.
No. That's why you fail and then when you fail, you realize that you cannot defeat South Africa, you start negotiating. And you see, these people, they want to fight for the country. They fail. And they return as refugee. He is a refugee, he's not a freedom fighter. This guy is a refugee. He's not a freedom fighter. A freedom fighter is a person who fight and come here. That's why the constitution that is ruling this country.
Yeah.
Is it the old constitution? That's why people, all the law that is happening is here.
Jabu, Jabu, where's your home area?
Yeah.
Where's your home area?
Ongwediva.
Ongwediva.
Yeah.
I think we need to go to Ongwediva one day.
It's not a problem.
No, we need to go to Ongwediva one day and ask your parents, because
Unfortunately, they all died.
they all died.
Yeah.
No, but somewhere they might
My elder.
they might have kept something somewhere, because it seems from the time you were recruited to become a Landwambongo, the Boers took out your brains, washed your skull, and left you with nothing but powder in the skull. But somewhere in Ongwediva, your brains are there.
That is what is. That
the
is.
day we'll get those brains and put them back, you'll be able to reason properly and understand that nobody ran away from here. It was a voluntary mission to go out there, get training, come back here and liberate you. Even though you picked up a gun and said you do not want liberation. Today you are sitting in this studio here.
Dr. Charles,
because
if
it was not for me,
Dr. Charles Mubita,
if it was not for me, you wouldn't be sitting.
If it was,
you know that.
If it was a voluntary mission, why are you demanding to be compensated today? Why are you demanding all the titles?
We never demanded anything.
Demanding all the titles, and they forget even their own children here who are camping here.
You are demanding. We are not
Why are
demanding.
you no, you are demanding. Some of your guys, you just recently formed an organization, apart from the old organization.
Yeah.
And some of you guys, you are demanding, you are marching every day here.
Let's go for
demanding for increase of your salary. Why? With my tax money.
Let's go for a break.
Your tax money.
That's why I said. That's why I said it is not fault for you to receive my tax money.
Okay.
But
Wait a minute.
Not to misuse the money of this country.
Okay, you were paid to do what?
Let's go for a break.
What were you paid to do?
Stop
what were you
terrorists
paid
in
to
this
do?
country, to stop terrorists in this country, to stop communist, the installation of a communist administration in this country.
And who were the terrorists?
You.
Me, myself.
Yes.
Yeah, so
You were terrorists.
Yeah, good. So you were fighting this terrorist.
Because of your behavior, that's why we refer you to terrorists, the way you were slitting people's throats
So now
and so on. That's why we refer you to
So now you
terrorists.
demand the recognition from this terrorist.
So
No, from the government of Namibia to be paid with to be. I'm not.
The government run by terrorists. Is that what you're saying?
Let's go for a quick break, my brothers.
All right.
The temperature is hot, but we will manage it. I am dealing with two adults, two civilized men. Hold on for second half. We continue with Jabulani Ndeunyema and Dr. Charles Mubita. Again, I think what is beautiful about this conversation, gentlemen, is that at last we can actually converse around the same table after years of very fatal confrontations. So I will go with you, Jabu, again. And let's keep the temperature down. I like the spirit, but let's keep the temperature down. So you see my issue, Jabu, not my issue, but the one thing that I never understood is I mean, like I said, being recognized, whether you are compensated for anything or not is a different conversation, but being recognized comes with, it's not just an act of saying, yes, you fought in the war, we recognize that. If you want to be officially recognized, it means that there's some status put on you to say, we recognize you as a military veteran because you fought this war, maybe in favor of this or that. You said earlier that Dr. Mubita is not your hero. Why is he not your hero? If he and others participated in the war to liberate the country, which he says you guys stood against, why is he not your hero?
You see, the one thing that I want people to understand and implement is that Namibian people, as they listen there, outside there, they must demolish the belief, they should demolish the belief in their mind that SWAPO liberate this country.
How did SWAPO not liberate the country? Because SWAPO, according to what we have seen and what we have read, is that, of course, it's one argument to say whether they liberated the country by no, let me just finish, whether they liberated the country by gunpowder or not. That's a different conversation. But they fought militarily, diplomatically, and on many other fronts. And if you put the puzzle together, they then brought what we have today. In what way did they not bring the independence?
Namibian people should remove that belief that SWAPO liberated this country. You see, I know Dr. Charles Mubita participated in a war of liberation struggle, and I do not have a problem if he is accorded with that status that he's a liberation war veteran, because he participated in that war.
Why did he not bring why did SWAPO not bring, how to explain that part?
Listen, South Africa was not removed by force from this in this country. There was a negotiation, there was, as I said,
there was a negotiation. Who led the negotiation?
SWAPO did not participate in a negotiation. The negotiation was between the Cuban, South Africa, and Angolan government. You see, these people were about to be chased out of Angola. Let me tell you what happened. Why these people agree in 1989. Yeah. These people were not ready to come back to Namibia. In 1988, they were not ready to come back to Namibia. They were not ready. But because of the situation that their former financier, the Soviet Union was in, found itself. You agree with me? Let me tell you the history. What happened was, it was in 1984 when the Soviet Union, the financial SWAPO and other liberation movement started to find itself in a financial crisis. The message was sent to SWAPO and all military organizations which were supported by Soviet Union, that you guys, you must start fastening either you force those who occupy your country by force, or you negotiate with them, because we can no longer afford. That's why that was a reason why they decided. It was in 1985-86 there when SWAPO and the Cuban and the Soviet agreed that, okay, fine, because Soviet Union is about to collapse, let us go and fight South Africa in Namibia. But before they decided to come and fight South Africa and chase South Africa out of this country, they decided to remove UNITA first in Jamba and Mavinga, and they failed. That's why when they realized that they failed, they decided to come to the table. And the table, you see, listen, one example, one vivid example is that South Africa was so powerful. South Africa was supported by powerful countries like the American and so on. That's why today Israel is still existing there. So SWAPO did not liberate this country.
Let's give Dr. Mubita a chance. Doctor, you are called a liberator. In what way do you think you are a liberator of Namibia?
Because Without me, without SWAPO, without the People's Liberation Army of Namibia, we wouldn't be sitting here.
No.
You see, it's very difficult sometimes to have a clear conversation with somebody who understands very little. Because negotiations about this country started way back. The Jose Akutakos led those negotiations through petitions. Okay? The Mandume Nemfayos, the Pumbuya Shilongos participated in resistance. The Jacob Murangos, the Vet Boys, they participated in resistance that was armed resistance against a colonial occupation. All right? And that resistance did not make headway. It impacted in terms of international understanding, that the international community understood the problem. That led to the League of Nations basically coming up with the C mandate category for this country, okay? And from then on, this was led through negotiation until 1966. After the International Court of Justice made a pronouncement which angered us and decided in 1966 that we will complement diplomatic and political efforts by the barrel of the gun. And we started that. The South African government, militarily, was almost brought to its knees in 1975, in case you don't know. I don't know when you joined the military. But that's when they realized that their military might could not stand the force of SWAPO. They started recruiting the Jabus. Anybody that they could give money to be able to sell their own brothers and sisters. They did that. But they recruited all these. They formed SWATF, they had Koevoet, they had whatever, Etango, Ezuva, and all those things. They had all those military groups, okay, to fight SWAPO. The South Africans never wanted to give up this country. You, Jabu, sitting here, never wanted to leave your uniform. You never did. But you were forced. They had to go to negotiate because it was becoming hot for them. And I would say, Jabu is unfortunate, very unfortunate, I should say, that at this stage and at this age, at this time, 33 years after independence, you still believe the propaganda that you were fed, that led you to take up arms against your own brothers and sisters. I really feel pity for you. I feel pity for you. But however, I need to caution you that repeated pronouncements like you are making now are very provocative. If we are to maintain the peace that we have had since 1990 at independence, we need to be cordial and we need to respect each other. We need to respect each other.
Let me come in there.
Yes.
When I joined the South Africa Defence Force, SWATF, I joined on my own volition. Others, especially those from the Red Lion, this side of the Red Lion, were conscripted. I joined on my own volition because of the behavior of SWAPO that I had experienced when they slaughtered people and so on and so on. And I don't need any mercy from Charles Mubita, no. I joined military on my own will because it was my democratic right to side with a person that I see fit to join. Just as now, you see, I was born with that right to decide with whom should I side. You see,
Did you say democratic? There was no democracy here.
there was no democracy.
No.
No, it's what you said. I think you're still young. It's what you said, but why? If I will later ask you that why you are saying that there were no democracy. The media were here. Everything was here. Why? Unless maybe because you were under colonial, a foreign administration is what you say. There were no democracy here. But what I want to make it clear here is that. I don't need any mercy from anyone. You see, I still, one thing that I have said before is that this country is in a mess because of SWAPO, and SWAPO is an organization that has been led by serious dishonest people. That's why the country is in a mess today. And you see, I am not recognized as a military veteran by SWAPO government, and I don't think I am going to be recognized soon, but the day will come when the government of Namibia is going to recognize me as a military veteran. Because I have realized that, listen, Mr. Toivo, if a mother is refusing to breastfeeding his biological child,
Yeah.
why do you think that mother will breastfeed a foster or a stepchild? You see?
Yeah.
He will not.
The stepchild, the child here in this case, look, what SWAPO argues, and they can speak for themselves. Charles can speak for himself. But I'm saying the reconciliation, as I understood
The
it.
fake reconciliation.
No, but
As I understand.
Toivo, maybe before you even proceed,
Yeah,
you
please.
see, we will be moving to another discussion without finishing one.
Yeah.
Jabu, you mentioned democracy, your own democratic right. And I think it's important to understand your version of democracy. What do you understand by democracy? If you say long before 1990 there was democracy and you use your own democratic right to join a force that was impeding independence, that was killing Namibians, or
No,
or
don't
fighting
go there
against-
killing Namibian. We both were killing people, even cruelly killing Namibian people. Both of us were killing Namibian
Now
people.
you are becoming very childish.
I know.
No, we picked up arms not to kill Namibians. We picked up arms to kill whoever was defending an oppressive system.
My
Right.
brother, you were even killing each other there in Angola, killing just because of jealousy and all those things. In Lubango. No, I don't want us to go there. Let us focus on what...
Exactly. Now I'm asking you a simple question. A simple question. And don't tell me that because you'll open up a Pandora's box. I told you, please don't,
Let it be open.
please don't provoke. We know your role in the killing of Shifidi. We know that. We know that. Don't even try to deny it. We know it. And please just try not to provoke us.
No, just
We
as,
know that.
just as we know...
The question is simple. You spoke about democracy. I want to understand your version of democracy. Because if you can explain what you mean by democracy, then maybe, only maybe, I'll be able to give you credence for the argument that you're making.
I don't need to explain much democracy because you were not even, you never know about democracy. Why should I have to explain to you? You were fighting alongside the communist administration. Why should I have to explain much to you? Let us focus on on the veteran status, why we cannot be accorded a veteran status. And I want him to explain much why.
I did not bring the word democracy. You brought the word democracy.
No, I just said it was my democratic right to join, because you see, I was born with that.
And you were asked to explain whether or not there was democracy at that time. And you said, yes, there was media,
and
that.
I said he
Yes,
was not, he was still
exactly.
young at maybe
Yes.
primary school. He doesn't understand that there was democracy here.
But
he did not experience anything.
But what is democracy?
Media was here. Why
Yeah.
they were not democracy
No,
here?
but you see,
What is democracy?
But you see, Jabu, the issue here is that the only contention that I have with your point of democracy is because those who had exercised their supposed democracy, democratic right to join SWAPO, for example, they were killed.
Like who?
Oh, come on. Jabu.
Like who?
No,
Just give one example.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
In my village, I come from Okalongo.
I was born in Okalongo.
Okalongo borders Angola, as you know.
Yeah.
We were the frontier of this movement of people going into Angola to join the war.
Yeah.
If it was heard that SWAPO soldiers were fed in your house, you would be killed.
Yeah.
If it was heard that you were contemplating to join SWAPO, you'd be killed. As a matter of fact, the reason why movement into Angola was prohibited.
Let me tell you one.
Let
me tell you those what you are saying. Those are propaganda which were fed in you. You were fed with propaganda.
No, Jabu. Let me say this to you, my brother.
People are just blaming that Koevoet and SWATF were killing people. Who are those who were killed?
No, allow me, Jabu, to say this.
I don't think I will allow you. You can say, but I don't think I will allow, because you just want to. You believe in Charles Mubita's propaganda.
No, I'm talking about my experience as a child.
No, you did not experience anything. No, Toivo. No, you did not experience any beating, not even seen any person.
I've experienced the war.
Jabu.
I was born in 1982.
Jabu.
I was born in 1982
Jabu.
when the country became independent in 1990.
Jabu.
You can imagine how
many
how
fingers
old I
are
was.
these?
There are 5.
There are 5.
No.
For the first time, you are telling the truth.
Telling truth about what?
About something that
there
is
was
right
no
in front
democracy.
of you.
That part, Jabu, I had to challenge you. There was no democracy. I can agree with you on other things.
No.
Democracy didn't exist.
What does democracy mean? What is democracy?
It's a freedom of choice.
A freedom. That's why I make a choice to join SWATF.
And the rule by the
Why
majority.
I decided to make choice? Was it not my freedom of joining?
You were allowed, but others were not allowed. That's the point.
Others like who?
If you joined Koevoet, you wouldn't be killed.
Do you know that there was an administration here? There was a government here.
There was.
These people, they sneak out during the night and join SWAPO. Something that's why we prohibited
Why
them.
did they sneak out?
SWAPO was having an office here.
Why
can't, if they have a problem with the former administration, so South Africa, why should they not approach the South Africa administration and say, instead of running away and take up arms, while they cannot fight?
How many Koevoets, how many Makakunyas, how many Malwando Mbongos were imprisoned on Robben Island?
How many Koevoet were
imprisoned, either here or in Robben Island? For what reason? For wanting to exercise their democratic rights.
A democratic right like what?
Like now, you exercise your democratic right. You said you'd exercise your democratic right to join Koevoet. Not so? You said so yourself. Now, if I were to stand up and say, now I want to exercise my democratic right in Southwest Africa, then I want to exercise my democratic right to go and join SWAPO to fight for independence. Was I going to be alive?
Your aim was to go and take up arms against the government. We will not allow you to.
And you were taking up arms against who? You were taking
with
up
the terrorists who?
Against who?
The terrorists, you.
Me, the terrorist.
The son of this country who ran away from this country and go and take up arms.
That's what you see. That's what I'm saying. Jabu, you see, in as much as you are an unrepented, recalcitrant,
that will not happen.
Sellout, in as much as all that is, my warning to you.
No, don't send a warning. Just say. Don't send a warning, because a warning won't do anything to me.
Don't step on toes.
On what?
On toes. Don't step on toes that are bleeding. Don't. You have caused enough harm.
Then who? Then who? Then who, Mr. Charles Mubita? How many people you see, let me tell you the truth. The atrocity, the cruel atrocity that committed by SWAPO, it's not more than the atrocity that committed by SWATF and Koevoet. These people are criminals. You see, when your administration is going to fall, some of you are going to be prison. We are going to sentence you we are going to prosecute you. I'm telling you. No, listen again. Yeah. You are just saying people, you are just saying people that SWATF and Koevoet were beating up people. Do you know how many people were even massacred, killed in Katewa Muliro? Do you know that?
By who?
By SWAPO. By SWAPO administration, even by SWAPO, by Namibian government under SWAPO. You see, these people cannot be, these are killers. If you are talking about bloodshed, are these people. I'm telling you, not SWATF and Koevoet. So yes, we were military, we were trained military to know how to handle people. These people were trained as guerrillas. That's why they were slitting people's throat. I'm telling you the truth.
So now you want me to slit your throat right here, right now?
No, you can't. Otherwise, you just bring a lot of problems. Before, I think time is running out. I think time is now running out. Mr. Charles Mubita, why do you think I must not be recognized as military veteran?
Because you haven't even explained why you should be.
I explain. I give many examples.
No, because you see, Jabu, the issue that hasn't come out clear is that you're simply saying we must Google what a military veteran is. I'm saying, tell us now why you, because it's not just an act of having had a gun in your hand. Yeah. Is you get there's no one who contests that you participated in the war. Yeah. But what is known is that the war that you fought was against what SWAPO was fighting for, and what SWAPO eventually achieved. Yeah. You were against that. Yeah. So by merely having had a gun in your hand, you can't say, oh, then I'm a military veteran. That one we know, but to be recognized officially, for what exactly?
That's why I give you so many examples of a mother who refused to feed his biological child. And I also said here that Toivo, I said here that the person who crafted the Veteran Act was very intelligent. The former Dr. Chirange did it very well, and he wanted only to accommodate the SWAPO, those who were persistent and consistent with SWAPO, and isolate formal and ignore SWATF and Koevoet. That's why they did that. But should they, I remember on 21st December 2017, we had a meeting with the former Vice President Nikki Yambo at the Old State House here. And he asked us, he asked me, Jabulani, go back and write an amendment, what you think should be an amendment to the military veteran for you to be accommodated. I did that, and I mentioned everything.
What did you say? In summary, what was your...
The first thing that I said is that on the amendment that I said was that the name should be the military veteran. That's the first thing that should be changed there. And remove the persistent and consistent with SWAPO. That's all. That's what I said.
So we should not, do you think, maybe before I give Charles the final chance here, do you think, Mr. Ndeunyema, that there's no difference between a former Koevoet veteran, a SWATF veteran, and the SWAPO veteran? You think they can just be blended together and mixed as if
there is a very big difference, because these people are liberation struggle veterans.
Yes.
This is a SWATF and Koevoet veteran. That's all. Very, very big difference, because these people participated in a war of liberation of Namibia.
And you fought against that?
No, we did not fight. Leave that. We did not fight against that. We keep Namibia free from being occupied by communists and others. Those were the reasons. There's a very big difference. That's why I said to you many times that SWATF and Koevoet will never be a freedom fighter. Never. That's why there's a very big difference.
No, I hear you. I think you've made your point. Charlie, I mean, when you have gone through what you've gone as a military veteran for the liberation struggle, you did not have the sophisticated things that they had. You really fought a very difficult war in the jungles of a foreign country. And you came here, you came back to the country, democracy kicked in, the proper democracy, where people can no longer be persecuted for affiliating with whomever they want. When you listen to my brother here, the freedom with which he can say what he's saying now, what's going on in your mind?
It is completely revulsion. Because I'm picturing myself coming from my detachment B or detachment A, come to the then Southwest Africa and say, I am a Namibian, I belong to this country, I need to be recognized as a military veteran because I've held a gun in the camps of SWAPO. And I am wondering what the then Southwest Africa Territorial Force or Koevoet or their commanders would have replied to me. What would they have said? Okay? Now, if you cannot recognize that you have wronged somebody or you did something and you basically cannot even recognize that, and you demand to be recognized by the people that you wronged, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. Look, we were fighting a system that was led by a white person. Not all white people, but a white person. And those white people, obviously, they recruited some black people into their forces. So, the enemy was those entrenching independence. That was the enemy. And for that reason, for wanting to liberate this country, we end the name of terrorists. And it was the South African whites who came up, the SADF who came up first with this terrorist thing. And obviously the others started regurgitating that. Say what the master says.
Because of the way you were conducting your activities.
Say, the way what?
You were conducting your...
No, you will never understand because you, listen, you were, you were conducting a regular warfare. I was conducting guerrilla warfare. And it's not the same thing. All right? It's not the same thing. Because in guerrilla warfare, I'll just tell you for your own information.
Understand what he's trying to say?
You have what you call
guerrilla warfare.
You have what you call the 16-character formula for guerrilla warfare. Because if we are only 3 of us, and obviously you are 16 or 20 in a particular camp, with your big arms and trucks and everything else, you won't tell me that the 3 of us should conduct regular warfare against you? It can't happen. All right? It can't happen. I have to use the 16-character formula of guerrilla warfare. That the only way I'll be able to engage you and, where possible, annihilate you. Do you understand? So we went through that. We were not going through trucks. We were walking
Yes.
who would take missions hundreds of kilometers to engage an enemy.
Yes.
We had people that were operating as far as Tumeb, as far as Keetmanshoop. All right?
Yeah.
So, and that was all for liberation, not for anything else, for liberation. That's one thing you need to understand. Number two that you need to understand.
Yeah. Briefly.
When we were fighting,
Yeah.
we were not being paid for fighting. We were not hired and paid
That's
for
why you
fighting.
are compensating, and
We
we
were
not a
not.
problem for you to be compensated.
We were not. Jabu here and others were paid
Yeah.
to conduct war against liberation. They were paid for
To
that.
stop communists.
As if you have communism now. That's why I'm saying you don't even understand the words you're saying. Because they were said by your master, now you do not even know what it means. Do you have communism here? You don't. So please chill.
Because what is working here is not what you claim to bring in here.
Yeah. I think, gentlemen, it was a massive, massive conversation. I'm happy that each side defended from their corners with all the weapons that they had. But I think it was necessary for my viewers and the whole of Namibia to get a picture where we juxtapose the two at the same time. I want to thank you, Charles Mubita, for coming.
Thank you.
Jabulani Ndeunyema, thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your time.
All right.
That is the show for tonight. I hope you have new perspectives like I do. Thank you.